right, all right, all right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, let's check the CPI numbers here. I mean, not CPI, employment numbers, job claims. How's everybody doing? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day and have had a wonderful week. Let's get this thing started. Let me just check the jobless claims numbers that are coming out at 8:30, I believe. Awesome. So the jobless claims numbers are down a little bit. So a little bit of a positive here for jobless claims at least. All right, Edgar, good morning. Nancy, good morning. Hope everyone's having a great morning. Indeed, Daniel, good morning. Marjan, good morning. Tommy Stonks, my man, what's going on? Good morning. Nuke, good morning. Sky, my man, good morning, everyone. Eric, what's going on? Good morning, good morning. All right, guys. Gonna wait till around 8:35. Oh, wait, let me post the tweet. I forgot to post the tweet. That's kind of interesting. All right, so we'll wait till 8:35, get everyone to kind of tune in here. Although most people kind of start tuning in close to the last 15 minutes. That's when I start talking about tickers you guys want me to take a look at. Nobody wants to know about the SPY levels these days. Nobody wants to know about the education. Everybody just wants to know, what do I trade? Anyways, let's wait till 8:35. Then we'll get everything going here and we'll get it all started. Legit Movers Chicago, what's going on? Good morning, good morning. Jamarcus, good morning. Lionel, good morning. Brassy, good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, guys, let's get this thing going. Let's get it going. Quite a bit of sell-off last few days, but taking advantage of everything, man. Don, good morning, good morning. What's going on, my man? Hey guys, we got about 3 minutes until I get started here. Gonna wait for everybody to tune in. It is that type of week. All right. Guys, if you guys are tuning in here early, go ahead and smash that like button right down there. YouTube does love it. So go ahead and smash that button. And we'll get into this here shortly in about possibly 2 minutes. Just going to wait for everyone to tune in here. Steve, good morning. Holy, I can't pronounce that word. Galakanakis. What's up, gangster? What's going on? Brassy sir, watched your video last week. Had I stuck to your SPY levels, I could have a $1 million day. Simon, morning from Toronto. Toronto's starting to get some good weather here. Hopefully it sticks and we start seeing some good weather down here in the ice cold province of Ontario. Stephanie Cortez, smash the button. Got it. Yes, smash it, smash it. Alan, good morning. First time on live. First time seeing a 4K stream too. Actually, wow. We've been streaming in 4K for a time now. At least since September, since I can remember. Since I moved into this new place with the better system that I put together. But I think before that it was also in 4K. Alright guys, we got about a minute here. So what we'll do, we'll start off with the SPY. We'll do some levels. We'll talk about key areas. We'll get into the Qs. After that, we'll go over some of the free tickers or free alerts that I have on Twitter. Explain to you guys how you guys can take those, why I have them on the list. And after that, we'll dive into the Q&A for you guys. And for you guys to ask me questions, let me know what ticker you want to trade. Do you want to day trade it? Is that day trade going to be a call or a put? Or are you looking to swing trade it? And are you looking to swing trade that to the upside or the downside? The more information you give me about what you're looking at, the more I can help you out. All right. Ion, what's going on? Good morning. Virgil, good morning from Romania. Great content, man. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in all the way from Romania as well. So do you have a pre-market live video on your VIP Discord every day? Yes, every day we get up. I'm in that room from like 6:30 a.m., but we have a live that starts at 9:15 a.m. to prepare everybody for the open. All right, guys, it's 8:35 a.m. If you guys are here, go ahead and smash that like button. Let's get started here. So we're looking at the SPY. If you guys follow me, you know I've talked about this 405 level plenty of times, and let's take a look at why this 405 level was so vital and what happens when we get into these pockets. I've talked about these pockets on multiple occasions as well. So bam, you have a support right here. Bam, you have a support. We bounced off of this 405 level, right? This support comes from back here, right? You see these candles? You see this little on May 13th, we came down, bounced, came down, bounced. So this is telling us there's buyers stepping up here. So when we sold off, old support continued to be support still. Once that support broke, we didn't have much support until this little area right here. Not much support at this 392 level. However, we do see some buying kind of stepping up. Kind of coincides with this little area of volume right here, but that's the level, and this is the exact pocket that we ended up filling. We fell through, we tried to get back up above that 405, failed again, and rolled right over, and yesterday we kind of penetrated this 392.97, okay? Now, if we fail to get back above these 392.97s, where's our next area of support? Well, it's simple. The next area is right here on this day, March 25th, 2021. Why? Because we've had a nice bounce from here and we went straight up, and that's really the next area that we could see some sort of sell-off come and take place towards. All right, now with that said, let's take a look at the closer time frames and see what's in the game plan for today. Okay, so there's that 393 level we talked about. I'm gonna pop up my actual full-on levels that I have. They're slightly different and they kind of look like this. So the one I showed you guys is just a little cleaner version of this. However, a few levels to take into consideration, okay? This 392 level is that key area that I'm going to be watching, okay? This 392 level is that level that I'm going to be watching. However, we have this 389.50 as well. You see it kind of tried to bounce off of this 388 level. If we fail to get above this 389.50, we roll over 385, 381, possible to the downside, okay? Now, if we do hold above this, you can see that they're trying to hold this level up here, right here early on, and then we had some sell-off taking place. Now with the employment numbers, jobless claims coming up, we're trying to get back above that. At the open here, I'm gonna watch this 389.50. If we can stay above this 389.50, we will try to look to push these levels right here, which comes up to yesterday's close and yesterday's little bit of a resistance area, okay? However, still not convinced. If we get above this, we do have big areas of resistance. 405 is another huge number that we would need to get above, as I've explained multiple times before. However, over this 394, you're looking at 398, 400 in today's price action, okay? If we get above 400, then obviously that 403, but that's a long way up here. So for now, 389.50 holds, push to 394, 398, okay? If we open below this 389.50, obviously you have downside move to the 385, and under that 381.70 are the levels that I kind of take a keep an eye on the downside. You guys can take a screenshot of these levels. These levels stay on my charts at all times. There is times where I go back to the daily and just clean up the chart a little bit and just try to see, just look at things a little bit differently. But ultimately, I do keep it on my main chart where it has all my levels, and throughout the days, the weeks, the months, the years that I've been trading, all these levels are always very well respected. Okay, so those are the levels I'm watching. 389.50 going to be key. If we hold above, we could look to push to 394, 398. Lose at 389.50, then we get that sell-off rolling over, as most supported names have been broken on a lot of names. Then we can see those 381.70s. Okay, now let's jump back to the Qs. Gonna go to the daily chart. Qs, perfect. All right, right off the bat, take a look at what you're seeing here in comparison to the SPY. All right, you're seeing that weakness in the Qs. Just over the last few months, it's been relatively weaker. I've talked about this on multiple occasions as well. Okay, so let me zoom out a little bit more. I think we need more time to see where the next support areas are. Perfect. So we've seen that relative weakness in tech and Qs. It's been doing a lot worse than the actual market itself, and it's kind of selling off here, increasing volume again. So next areas that are going to have some support are going to be these levels from November 20th, 2020. Okay, this 288 to 287.60 area, these are the levels that are finding support right here. Now, if we lose this area, then the next big area is going to be 280. Okay, now pay attention to this 280 level. Let's go back to this area. This 280 level, there is a nice little pocket, there's a gap here from 280 until at least here, right? That's a little gap that we could try to fill if we get back under this 280 level, 280.65. Okay, so that's something that I'm keeping an eye on. Again, we'll take a look at the closer time, the 15-minute time frame. Let's see what those levels are that I'm paying attention to. Let me go ahead and put my default levels back up. Perfect. So this level that we're keeping an eye on is going to be this 286. Okay, let me put my line up here so you guys can see it. That 286 level is kind of what I'm paying attention to. 286.50, 286.75 is the level that I'm focusing on going into today. All right, we're bouncing off of it here nicely. Again, this is going to be the same as our 389.50 on the SPY. Okay, so if we hold above this, we could look to push to 289. Ultimately, the 294, 297 area if we maintain above this 286.50. Break this and roll over. Obviously, you're going to get that push down to that 280.36, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky, because that level, if we break that, we penetrate into the gap fill, and we could see some more downside as we enter that gap fill on the daily as well. Okay, so those are the things to kind of keep an eye on here on the Qs and the SPY. Really, those key levels that I'm focusing on, if we get above and hold, we're going to look for upside moves, and if we roll over, then obviously downside moves. Okay, one more other thing you guys need to pay attention to is, if you're having a hard time trading the first 10-15 minutes of the open, it's okay to kind of stop and just observe the first 10-15 minutes. Look for your patterns before getting into the trade. Ultimately, after the first 10-15 minutes, the market should technically have some sort of direction, and in that direction, you will be able to spot either bearish or bullish patterns that you could get involved in and trade those as well. Okay, so it doesn't necessarily mean you have to trade the first 10-15 minutes. As you excel, as you grow as a trader, you'll get the ability to kind of read tell signs a little bit earlier in the first 10-15 minutes. Then maybe you can trade those. All right, so with that said, I'm going to jump right into the free alerts that I have posted, and we'll get right to it. So the free alerts I have posted, the first one is WFC. Okay, WFC 42 put. All right, perfect. So we have this downside move. We had an inside day on WFC. I don't need to look at the daily chart to see this, simply because this is the high of the day, right? This is the high of the day, and this is the low of the day. So take a look at today's or this day's price action, right? This day's price action is right here, and the high, I'll show you, the high is right here, and the low is right here. So this day is inside the previous day. So I had an inside day, and I don't want to take this trigger right here on the inside day, because there's a psychological 42 right here that's going to be a big level on it. Okay, so if this 42 breaks, great, we could see downside moves on it. First target you're looking at on this one is going to be around 41.20, and then further under that, these are just based on pivots. Under that, you're looking at around 39. Okay, so if this loses 42, you could see that nice sell-off down to the 41.20, and depending on your risk tolerance, you might already be in the green 20-30%, and you take your profits there. Okay, now if this does get back above 42.50, then I'll look, 42.75, then I'll look to try to take calls on it. Ideally, I like this on the downside better, but if it does get above this little area right here, you have this after hour support. You have a little bit of resistance right here, 42.70, and then your next top side target can be this little pivot high. You see how I'm coming up with these levels? The same way I came up with the support areas, right? So we sold off, pop, hit a resistance, sold off, right? That resistance can again come into play if we get over 42.70. Bam, right there's going to be your first target, and then ultimately you can have the moving average as your third, and this little valley up here as your fourth target. Okay, so obviously these are the things I'm looking at. Under 42, looking for puts. Above 42.70, we're looking for calls. Next one is XPEV. XPEV, you can see very good support right here at this 1950, 1960 level, right? We have after hours support right here, 1950. We have intraday support right here at 1950. Again, respected very well early on. You can see this little area is a micro support level. So if we get under that 1960, 1950 level, your next big support is sitting at around 1840, okay? So we'll keep an eye on this. Obviously, keep an eye on other, electric car names like NIO, Tesla, Rivian, Lucid. See how they're performing if you're going to trade a name like this. Don't have tunnel vision. Don't look at one ticker and try to just trade that. You need to have that one ticker on your chart. You need to look at other sectors. You need to look at SPY. You need to look at the Qs. If you guys are in this to do this for a full time, treat it as a business, have your other things around the SPY, the Qs, what moves the market, tickers that affect the market, for example, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, these stocks affect the market. So have everything on your side charts as you're trading so you're fully aware of what's going on. Anyways, under XPEV 1950 puts, under that 1950, 1960 level. If it does get back above 2030, which again you can see right here, this little sideways consolidation, that's the resistance above that. Break that, you could see that push towards this 2150 and ultimately 2180, right? So that's the game plan on XPEV. Netflix, a next one here, big support at this 163 level, comes from the daily, and they're starting to kind of buy this up right here. It's not selling off when the market sold off, it's holding up here. So this 163 level is going to be a key level on it. If we break the 163, we really do have room to fall. Next big support on the daily is at 144. Obviously, this is not going to flush straight down. You're going to see that wave. You're going to see intraday support levels come in. Then you can kind of use those to kind of gauge your way down. You can use fibs to see how much of a move down it's taken. But ultimately, it does have room on the daily. That's why I'm interested on the downside move if this does break that 163 area. Okay. If this does get back up over the 165 area, essentially 165.75, clears these little resistance points right here, then we'll look for a little bit of a squeeze to the 171, 172 level and kind of be done with it there. All right, so you're gonna have to look at the market sentiment as well, see if the SPY is gonna hold up. If it does, then you want to take those calls. If it starts selling off, then you want to look for those puts as well. Okay, now a lot of times, again, I do this every pre-market session we do. I discuss this. People want to know, when do you take the trade? Should you just take it right at the trigger? Do you wait for a retest? Do you wait for a 15-minute candle confirmation? So if it's within the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, even the first 30 minutes, and the price action opens up and it's coming right down to trigger, I'm not hesitating. In the first 10, 15 minutes, I'm taking that trade right there because I know there's not much support on the daily. This could really flush down and get me a quick 30, 40, sometimes even 60% moves before it starts consolidating a little bit. Okay, so in the first 10, 15, 30 minutes, I take the trigger as soon as it comes. I don't wait for any retest, and I take advantage of the big volatility on the way down. Now, if time has gone by, price action has kind of gone sideways, and we are now maybe an hour into the market, 2 hours into the market, and we come down and we penetrate, then what you're looking for is at least a retest of that level. Then you can get in right here on this retest because volume is a lot lower, right? So you have to wait for that retest. You're not going to get that sudden drop that's going to significantly yank it. You need to wait for the retest for confirmation to get involved. Okay. Now another thing to know, let's say our trigger point was up here. Okay, let's say we wanted to take the trade here. The stock is currently sitting at 164. If price opens up and we go straight up here, okay, you have to understand this move is now extended. For you, yes, we have a trigger point. For example, this was our trigger point, right? Yes, we have a trigger point right here at 172.30, but the stock has gone from 164 to 172. Just because there's a trigger point there doesn't mean you have to take calls up here. Why? Because this move is super extended. It's gone up about $6. And if you're buying calls right here, what are the chances of this moving up another $8? The chances are very slim. So because of that, you're going to have to wait for some sort of a consolidation to take place right under this level. And then you can take that trade right there. Okay, you never want to chase that move up. Just because you have a trigger, it doesn't mean you should get involved in the calls. Okay. So that is the free alerts. We've gone around some of the tickers that I'm looking at as well. We've gone through the SPY and the Qs. Now, if you guys have questions, go ahead and drop it in the chat. I'll go over them. Let me know if you're looking to trade calls, puts, day trade, swing trade, so I can give you guys as much information as I can. And yeah, let me just dive into the chat, see if we got anything going on here. I found about 20 inside days on traceable names. How do you narrow down the list to a handful of names to focus on? Tradable. Yes. So, when you do an inside day scan and you come up with a bunch of stocks, you just put it on the watch list. You sort it based on volume, right? Does that stock have volume? Does it have monthly options? I really don't like to day trade monthly options. Then you bring that list, you make it smaller. Does it have volume? Does it have monthly options? Does it have weekly options? And then you're looking at a smaller handful of stocks. Then with that smaller handful of stocks, you come in the pre-market and you're looking at key areas. So if the pre-market has a good area of support or resistance formed and you're right above that inside day trigger level, great. That's how you kind of finalize and get your eyes and fine tune on certain names that from a big pile of stocks. Essentially, you just have to do process of elimination until the morning of, and then you have maybe 4 or 5 that you can keep an eye on. Snap 17 put for May 20th. All right, so let's take a look at Snap 17 put. Let's take a look at the daily. So one thing you guys got to understand, we've sold off quite a bit on a lot of these names as well, right? So one thing, obviously, you want to be in and out of trades. You don't want to be holding swing puts, especially after a 4-day move down. Maybe if you held it a little bit earlier, great. 17 put, 520. So 17 put, you're looking at 17 put is a little bit too deep into the money. 17 put. It's showing up as, hold on, May 20th, 7th, it's 2 cents per contract. So it's a little too far out of the money for me. I would probably look something closer to maybe 21.20 even, or 19. But yeah, if it gets under the 21.20, it does have room to flush down. So keep an eye on that 21.20 level. If it breaks that, you could buy some puts towards the 20.69 and then really down to that 20 level. Neo. Again, I'm not sure what you want to do with Neo. You need to let me know if you're looking to buy calls, puts. What is it that you're looking to do? J&J, swing trade, puts. Let's take a look at the daily chart. Swing trade puts. That yesterday's candle does signify, there is some selling taking place. I think for you to get involved in puts, you'd have to get really under that 174.60 level. If you get under that 174.60 level, yeah, that happens to be right here. Then you can kind of try to take advantage for the move down to the 172. Lots of support here though at 173. You can see right here. So you could try it right under the 174.63, and then you're going to fall to the 163.60, 172. Under that 172.75 is when really it opens up. But you have good risk to reward here. You're under the moving averages. You had a pretty candle here, signifying more downside. So under that 174.60, wouldn't mind getting involved. Possibly a move down to that 171, 172 area on J&J. Tesla 600 puts. Holy smokes, can't believe you guys are trying these. So Tesla 600 puts are way out of the money for me. Again, I like to keep things close to a delta of at least 45. Now, when you're talking about Tesla 600 puts, I want, why weren't you in puts, all up here? Why weren't you in puts yesterday? So you know, we knew under this 860, 850 level, this thing was going to open up. People in the VIP or in the Discord were actually trading this on the downside towards the 750. Now you're sitting at this 700 number, okay? I would not buy puts down here. You've gone from 950 to 700. You're buying puts. That's exactly what I just talked about in the other, you know, literally 5 minutes ago. From 950 down to 700 to buy puts here. I mean, it's a very extended move down, and you would have to break 696, 695 in order to even get involved in those puts. And if you do get involved in those puts, I would probably just day trade it. You know, after such a significant move down, to even try to swing trade puts here is going to be a little bit wild. But yeah, under 695, you could try to day trade the puts. It is very extended. 600 is too far out. I would keep it closer a little bit towards that 45 delta. AMD on the 2 to 4 hour, head and shoulder formed. What are your thoughts to the downside for 84 put? All right, love that. Love how that question was kind of panned out. This is the type of questions you guys should be asking, right? I want to know what you're seeing. I want to see, you know, if you're understanding what's going on here. So I do see that head and shoulder. You need to get that. You need to get under that 84.80 level. Get under that 84.80 level. Great. You should see that push to the 80, pull to the 82 right there. And then ultimately the next daily support on this one is sitting at around 73. Okay. So yes, your idea is right. Head and shoulders. For those of you that can't see it, you have the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, neckline is right here. If that 84, 83, 84, 70 level breaks, you get that flush to the 82.17, and ultimately a big pocket right here on the daily towards that 73, 79. Almost looks like a football gameplay here. But yeah, good eye on that one. Roblox puts. Roblox puts. I'm assuming you're talking about day trade here. Earnings is out of the way. Next big fib on the downside here is showing 860. Let's take a look at the closer time frame. Sure. Yeah, I mean, it puts probably under the 23 level. I would look for puts under the 23 level with a weaker market. Then you could look to at least test that 2140 and then 20 psychological number right under. Okay, 23, 20 to the downside. You could get involved in those puts. Disney, very interesting ER here. Very interesting level being held. Puts on Disney, you need to roll over and break 99. Get under that. Understand that IV is going to be a little high on these, so if you're wrong initially, you could get roasted. But under 99, this does have room to kind of fall. So that's a level that I would buy puts on. BA day trade put market open until 12:58. BA. This fucking name. Yesterday, I bought puts on this, and unfortunately it ripped up and kind of screwed me, only for it to fucking fall off a cliff. Anyways, daily has no support on this. Next big support's at 117. Will we see weakness? We're going to have to wait for the market to open here. But under that 120, market open until support of 125. Yeah, you need to see this pre-market level break. That is your low from yesterday. You could wait for a pop to this level, see how market is reacting if we're popping. Possibly take a rejection off of that level. But for downside put plays, you have to wait for 127.50, which is your pre-market level here, to break for further downside. NEO to average down or wait more. My average is 13.16 long term. NEO. So NEO is a long-term position that I'm also holding and getting absolutely fist fucked in. So I'm not adding NEO here. I'm waiting. You know, we're still making newer lows, right? So that does mean that, you know, if we essentially make this newer low, which we did yesterday, we could come down to this 1062. I don't know, some of you probably don't want to hear this, but 1062 is a possibility. That 10 number. Ideally, I don't want to add to NEO until we see some sort of sideways consolidations for the moving averages to kind of catch back up here. Maybe at the $10 I'll look to add, but at this moment with that candle, with selling increasing, I'm not adding to the long term here. I'll wait a little bit longer. Ideally, I'm not here to try to catch bottoms, but I don't want to just get involved prematurely either. So I'll wait for a better sign, possibly selling volumes decrease closer to 10 area to get involved. Daniel Ramos, thank you. You're very welcome, my man. Tony Sanchez, SPY puts 317. January, February, 317. Anyways, 392 puts. You talking about like March next year, March? Let's see. Anyways, like I said, for SPY puts, you need to roll back under. You need to show weakness under that 389.50. If we start getting candles or rolling over, slamming that 389.50, then you can buy puts. So you have to wait for that level to kind of show its face before you do that. Good morning. Thanks again, man. This info puts on coin. Coin is another one significantly sold off here. Broke that 50 number. Daily is looking super extended to the downside, guys. Look at this, just falling off a cliff. You really got to be careful on buying puts after such big drops. You got to ask yourself, why weren't you in there earlier, right? We took advantage of some puts on coin a few days ago, but at this point, you have to wait for this to open. You have to see if that 47.60 is going to break to the downside. Then you can kind of take advantage on puts. But you're super extended. Chances of this ripping right up against you is possible. So you need to wait for bear flags, bearish patterns to form itself before you get involved. All right, guys. If you guys are here, go ahead and smash that like button. It is 9 o'clock. I got to get back into the room and get ready for the market open. I appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in here every week, 8:30 a.m. Really means a lot to me. Thank you all so much. If you did have a question that I did miss, don't worry. Shoot me a message on Twitter or Discord. I answer all my DMs at all times. If you need questions, if you need something, if you need a ticker looked at, let me know. DM me on those platforms and I'll take a look at it. But right now, I got to get back to the room, get ready for the market open. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Again, go ahead and smash that like button. I would greatly